Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Feeling Seen, the podcast that talks about the characters that make us feel seen. And my co-host today has spent the last few years racking up one of the most high-profile, like ridiculously high-profile and fascinating filmographies of truly anybody working in the business. You might have seen her on television shows such as Z Nation, Black Lightning, or that humble little outpost, The Mandalorian, and you might know her from this list of movies, you guys: Love Lies Bleeding, the upcoming Queens of the Dead, the most bisexual submarine crew in the entire seven seas, from Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, the new romantic comedy Maintenance Required, the upcoming movie The Running Man, one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and also recently, alongside Glenn Powell, Twisters. So, Katy O'Brien, what else do the people need to know about you before we get started with all of that in mind?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know what anyone needs to know. Maybe we'll find out.
Yeah, great. We're gonna find out. Okay, so the Maintenance Required is the new project, which is in and around several, like you have Queens of the Dead coming up so soon, and then Christie will be coming soon after that, and then The Running Man is within the mix of all that. But the Maintenance Required is the one out right now that people can watch on Amazon Prime. And this is a different gear for you. So tell me about flexing into, I saw you say in an interview, you're more the com side than the rom of the rom-com. So tell me about that.
I was really looking to do a comedy or some kind of comedy, because I feel like I so often just get to do drama. So I just wanted to just do something silly for once, and my team just happened to they were actually producing this, and it just kind of seemed like a good way to play and sneak some little comedy chops in there and have fun.
Mm-hmm. And another, on the topic of having fun, I got to see Queens of the Dead recently. There was a screening for it at Los Angeles Beyond Fest that was a wonderful room, a wonderful event. And I had so much fun with Queens of the Dead. Tina Romero directing a zombie comedy, a fantastically queer zombie comedy, and you are really the centerpiece of that story with an incredible ensemble cast around you. Margaret Cho, Thomas Matos, like it's just like the hits keep on coming with the people who were in that movie. And how was working with Tina, the great, the legendary name of the zombie format, coming in and queering the hell out of this shit with a bunch of drag queens and like beating the brakes off zombies and dancing the minds out of zombies. Like, tell me about the zombie comedy that you have coming up as well.
I think it's easily, without a doubt, the lowest budget project I've worked on in a very long time.
And that was actually something I wanted to hear about, working in the domains of like literally the highest budgets one could be present for in the production of a movie. And then really the bootstraps kind of production that you were on, I would imagine, with the Queens of the Dead.
I think one of the big things was Tina came into it with such a clear vision and such great enthusiasm that it made everybody just excited to be there. So that first and foremost, and then everyone that was there, we all just kind of got along pretty much right away, and it just felt like no drama. It was just a celebration being there. So also I think one thing that I absolutely adored was how the community just came together to put this project together. I mean, literally like a budget of glitter and a shoestring. And so many people pulled in favors to get prosthetics, our set design team, I don't even know how they did what they did.
Right.
He sets up like that because we had very little time. And I think that's something that with low budget films in particular, time is really against you, as well as money. So a lot of these takes are like one takes. We had one DP who was, or not DP, one camera operator who was, carrying the camera the whole time. And their attitude was phenomenal considering.
That's it. Your body, I know a number of camera operators, your body takes a beating in that job. I feel like people don't really appreciate the athleticism of being a camera operator at times.
Oh, it's awful. I've put it on for a little bit of time and I'm like, this is just very uncomfortable. And it was also just insanely hot where we were in New Jersey in the middle of summer. We didn't have good ventilation where we were. It was insanely hot. And so we've got, our camera op, and then we also have like people in drag. And it was just, like I said, it was just a love of the project that really got everybody through. And honestly, it makes it so much more special knowing how hard everybody worked, knowing how creative everyone had to be. And just knowing how much love was poured into it. And that, it's campy. We're not taking ourselves too seriously. We had a great time. It's meant to be silly. And I also think that there's like a bit of beauty to it too. And
absolutely. I wept multiple times watching this movie. I absolutely wept.
Yeah. I got teary-eyed at one point. I got chills in another. So I think there's, Tina has a great way of pulling a story and the heart of the story, and also using music too to kind of really get you moving. I say this a lot, but like it just, the universe kind of brings you things at the time that it feels sort of most appropriate. And rewatching the movie that you brought and the character that you picked to discuss today felt unnervingly resonant and with the way things feel now, sort of in society and what we're up against, and attempts by people in power to repeal basically the 20th century in the progress and advancements that it's made. Tell me about your first exposure to the Ridley Scott film G.I. Jane. Yeah, when we're talking about feeling seen, it took a long time. I didn't often feel very seen in film. It was something I was always interested in, but I never thought it was a possibility for me because I never really saw anyone that looked like me on film.
Of course, yeah.
At least in my experience. And like later in life, I saw, okay, there's Vasquez. She's here for 2 seconds on in this project and Aliens. And, I grew up with like Clarice Starling in mind as a strong character, often, in a world that's male dominated. I didn't see G.I. Jane for the first time until college. I'd actually just graduated college, but I was still kind of lingering around because why not? And I'd started to get into strength training. I'd started to really question what I wanted to do with my life. I really was like, I was a little lost in looking for motivation. And seeing this movie, it was like it had two little things juxtaposed. One, when they were finding who they would make this soldier, right? Who they would have as the PR face of it. And they had this one person who was probably more equipped for it.
I think she's described as looking like she's married to a Russian beet farmer by the senator who's culling through possible headshots of women who could be the inaugural go through the Navy SEAL training program.
Yeah. Well, some impressive fitness reps here. Holder of several records for female powerlifting.
Is this a face you want to see on the cover of Newsweek? She looks like the wife of a Russian beet farmer.
I like this one. Triathlon, winter sports, skeleton, Olympic contender, winner of the Arleigh Burke essay contest, works intel. Well, maybe too much of a think tank soldier.
Show me. Oh, this really is top drawer. With silk stockings inside.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel like women are just observed all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, are they capable? Absolutely. Do they look the part that we want? Maybe not. And there's like such high scrutiny for that. You would never have like your first, what's the space program we have? SpaceX something?
Space Force?
Space Force, yeah.
Space Force, yes.
Space Force, right? Like you could have a dude that like,
he could be that Russian beet farmer. He could be the Russian beet farmer.
Doesn't matter. They don't care. That's the face's Space Force.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. So already I was like, okay, that's kind of like, that's very real.
Yeah.
That's a very real, small point of the movie, but very real statement.
Yeah, the senator who is the shrewd Southern senator who's backing this initiative to bring a woman into the SEALs is going through these photos, and she's like, when they hold up the woman who is like an Olympic strength trainer and just like an absolute run through a brick wall, the senator says through her Southern accent, "Is that a face that you want to see on the cover of Newsweek?" It is as the public relations component is as important to how this is packaged as the success of the woman who would be put through this program.
Yeah. And so right away I was like very interesting. And then they pick Demi Moore, who is gorgeous, but had to work really hard, really, really hard to get respect. And I very much related to that, being almost always surrounded by guys. Yeah, I'm the youngest of 4. I have 3 brothers. Like,
oh shit.
already like all
Okay.
boys. My dad kind of bonded with us through sports. I'm always surrounded by guys in the sports, right? I was doing martial arts, teaching martial arts. A lot of the people that I worked with were guys. I went into law enforcement. It's all guys. So it just constantly that energy around. And one thing that I noticed was she wasn't like commanding respect. She wasn't demanding it. She wasn't saying, respect me, damn it. She was leading by example. And the respect kind of just happened naturally. And I see so often when women are in these fields where they feel like disrespected, I do see a set of different types of personalities, and some of them are very forceful and aggressive because they feel like that might be what can gain their respect. And I think there's a level of insecurity there. And to me, the most security, or like a sense of security, is someone that like respects themselves and knows that they can do it, and is it's in their heart that they're able. And I started to see the evolution of that in the G.I. Jane character, and I really, really loved that. And despite what the other guys around her were saying, her commanding officer, despite what her husband was saying, she was like, I'm doing this for me and for any other woman out there that may be in my position one day. And then she did the big thing that like everyone does when they do a dramatic change, shaves her head. And in the most dramatic lighting possible, does incredible push-ups. Yeah. And that was the other thing, was it was the first time I saw someone doing like one arm push-ups on and she's doing like the pull-ups and everything. And I was like, oh, I gotta get stronger. Like, it just immediately was like, I have to be so much stronger because I don't think I can do a one-arm push-up. So just like, it was a really interesting film for me. And I just kind of got to see a lot of little things that like I think lingered around in my life, and how it was portrayed on screen. And I don't, talk about how women are portrayed in action films, and I don't know that that's super an action film. It might be more drama or whatever. But
I would put it in the camp of action, specifically for what you're saying in the like getting at like the delineation. I've read you talk about in interviews, like there being you not necessarily wanting to exclusively be limited to the sort of subgenres of action of like fantasy and science fiction, things that take away from reality, and perhaps having more of a desire toward grounded in reality. And there are fewer options within that subset of the grounded in reality, either woman like ensemble or singular like solo action star piece. And I would absolutely consider this to be an action film.
Yeah. And where I will say, eventually there are, I said that like you do see women in action in grounded reality as long as they've got a gun, the equalizer, right? The weapon. Yeah. And eventually it gets to that when they go to war. But the big part of action that I enjoyed was like her gaining that respect. And a lot of that came without a weapon, which I thought was really cool.
Did he die in prison or I don't know. But I hope you assholes are as ready as you think you are.
You girls are so full of shit. No offense, O'Neill.
Jordan, what do you think about that, huh? Spending time in some Arab prison?
After 6 months with you, Slavnik, I might just fucking volunteer.
But I still like to this day, you just don't see that. You don't see, I think maybe in the 70s, there might have been some women-led martial arts films that were very campy. But you just don't see it nowadays. And it's bizarre that like even the scripts out there that try, I think they just find difficulty in making like a person. It's like someone without any soul behind them. It's like I want to see a real person with like joy and a sense of humor, or like some kind of personality, and not just like a solid rock.
there is that tendency, particularly with like the sort of supporting female assassin character, where it's like the strong female character that's like quite literally a silent assassin. The movie Logan is a very good and fascinating divergence from the formula of how the superhero movie gets put together. And like the young girl who is the sort of small Logan sort of protege within that, literally silent. Like Ruby Rose, within the epic John Wick franchise, which has pushed Western action so far forward in terms of putting stunt pros and stunt creativity forward as the star itself, you have Ruby Rose as an assassin in one of those movies, literally a silent assassin.
Yeah.
And it's like not till you get to Rina Sawayama, like in John Wick 4, that we have kind of more of like a woman who's present and doing absolutely virtuoso things. But yeah, there is a leaning on the convention of strength equals silence. And like Vasquez, I feel like, is one of those things you notice where like full of piss and vinegar, but a supporting role that, like you said, kind of pops in and out of screen.
Yeah, like women can be henchmen, you know. One thing that I do love about Mission Impossible is they do have a lot of these like fight scenes with and oftentimes, you know, Tom or some of the villains are bested by the women, either by feats of martial arts. I think they have Palm doing a lot of.
Oh my God, she is
really
absolutely electric in Final Reckoning and Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah, and they give her that opportunity to really show off some sick moves. But again, you know, it's still a sporting role, so I haven't seen that really in a lead yet, but or like recently in a way that isn't campy and. I don't know.
You know, obviously watching like East Asian action, there is, obviously there's plenty of guns in East Asian action, but there's also a more familiar trodden expectation around martial arts to where you can have a diversification of the kind of deadliness of people within it. And to your point about the 70s, you know, we have the Meiko Kaji movies out of Japan and you know, Lady Snowblood and Female Prisoner 701. And then we, you know, coming into Hong Kong Kung Fu in the late 80s, early 90s. But I'd be curious to hear about like where in your like, I follow your wife on Twitter, which is such a weird parasocial thing to say. But I only bring that up because she posted something a while ago at this point saying that the writer Brandon Strusnik, who's obviously, first of all, guys, he's a really great person. Second of all, he's an incredible mind about action cinema. And she said that like he had given you guys a bunch of movies to watch to ingest of like, here's like a sort of action to watch starter pack, like to dig into. She was like, he was so helpful and these movies were so great. And what I wanted to hear from you, like regarding a list of something like that, is what you found you felt pulled to fill an absence of in taking what I would imagine was a pretty diverse list of that kind of cinema that you were watching.
We still haven't even finished it. It's a very long list.
I bet it's comprehensive.
Yeah, and we've had to kind of shift to some other things for other projects. But you know, we saw Assassin, which was an interesting film because it was a little incomprehensible for me. I was like, what's going on? And it turns out, I guess it was like the director's last movie before he had dementia took over or something.
Okay.
I'm forgetting the exact details, but it was like it definitely wasn't streamlined in like the most direct storytelling kind of way. I had to look up what I watched. I was like, what's the story?
Yeah.
But I, you know, oftentimes too, I am drawn toward, I guess, Eastern storytelling because it's so much about like the character journey, rather than like hitting Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 necessarily, in even like a linear fashion. And I think that allows for it's a really beautiful, interesting way to dive into human interaction and psychology. But we found Baby Assassins.
Excellent series. Excellent series. I think it's like 3 movies and a show at this point.
Yeah. And I think the show is now coming to like HBO Max or something. Like it's coming over here, but it was just the right amount of like cheeky, just a completely silly storyline. But 2 people, one of whom you know is an actual stunt woman, and like it's very clear, and one of whom is like a stage actor, and that's also very clear. Like she's doing significantly less action. The action she's doing is very funny. But it was just some of the coolest fight scenes I've seen, and you know they're not just like taking out a whole SWAT team.
Yeah.
They're getting injured too. They're going down to, some of it is happening inside their heads. The fights, like the little passive aggressive, like scenarios that we run through our heads or whatever. And I thought that's just such a fun way to do this too. It's like, there's still like a fantastical element to it, but there still are at the end, going head to toe with usually a bigger opponent and coming out on the up.
Honey, come on. I survived jump school, dive school, and 3 brothers. I think I can take care of myself. Look, the only thing that scares me are the sexual politics. I'm just not interested in being some poster girl for women's rights.
There is, at the beginning of this movie, when in G.I. Jane, when Demi Moore is chosen for this task, and she says, like, when she's in the tub with her man, she's like, I'm not, like, I don't want to, like, this isn't about, like, some sort of feminist bullshit. Like, she really puts it, she airs it out that, like, I'm not here to, like, advance the women's agenda. Like, I want service experience so that I can wrap myself in valor so that I can advance in this career the way that you, a man, has been able to advance in this career because you have combat experience. And then later on, too, when she arrives at the base, she says to the, officer brass that, like, I'm not here to make a statement.
Permission to speak, sir. I'm not here to make some kind of statement. All I care about is completing the training and getting operational experience, just like everyone else, I suspect.
If you were like everyone else, Lieutenant, I suspect we wouldn't be making statements about not making statements, would we? Dismissed.
Aye, sir.
And to you discussing the fact of, like, not really feeling a sense of, like, linear capture of yourself on screen and needing to be more creative about perhaps where you imagine yourself in characters that you see, and not seeing, like, women who look like you, like, it, reaching this level of, like, fitness carved from stone, etc. And that does, when you find yourself filling the role of the person that you hoped to see, you become the person that others might be reliant upon to find representation in themselves for. And so do you find yourself in the position of, look, I'm not trying to make a statement here, or it's like, listen, I know that I'm a statement, so this is how I'm going to comport myself? Like, what is your relationship with that notion of being the statement or not?
Well, I think it's really funny to say I'm not trying to make a feminist statement, but all I want is equality.
Yeah.
It's like
an inherently very political thing to say.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of exactly what, like, certain, there's certain types of feminism, I guess, that, but that's pretty much like the whole point of it is, like, we just want the same opportunities as men. So that's like literally what you're doing, and actually what you're saying. But I do understand the perspective of, like, I'm literally just existing in space.
Yeah.
And I want the same opportunities that people that don't look like me necessarily have. And so, yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it should have to be a statement, but apparently it is, because these opportunities don't necessarily exist yet, or I haven't seen them. It was kind of funny when I booked Love Lies Bleeding. Afterwards, I had an interview with someone, and they're like, "What is it like to always play queer characters?" And I was like, "This is the first queer character I've played. I don't know what you're talking about." Like,
one of those things where it's like you're an overnight success, but the overnight is you've already been working for 10 or more years to be called an overnight success.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's just people just assume when I'm on screen I'm gay. Like, and none of my characters have ever been explicit about their sexuality.
Canonically gay, canonically queer. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sure, giving the vibe, right? But but I was like, this is the first time that I've auditioned for a role that said looking for a gay character, and I got to be gay. Oftentimes early in my career, it was like I would audition for a queer role and it would go to someone that was very feminine because they said they wanted to fight the stereotype. And I was like, of people looking like me? And I'm like, so then I would say, show me one character that plays gay that looks like me, that isn't like a punchline.
The original iteration of the L Word is ostensibly all about lesbians, and they're all lipstick lesbians living in Los Angeles. Like, there's a very uniform beauty about all of those lesbians.
Yeah. So, and then they can't give an example. And then I'm like, I'm glad that you, a man who has cast this role, like it's basically is what it comes down to. Or like you a straight person who's cast this role, is really looking out for the lesbians. Thank you so much.
Yeah, like I didn't expect to find such an ally here, breaking stereotypes before my very eyes. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for breaking me, the stereotype.
Feeling very broken. Thank you so much. The stereotype.
I feel very seen. Thank you. So that was a lot of my earlier experience. So then it was, oftentimes my character's sexuality has nothing to do with the plot. And that's, I think, very valid and maybe like even a feature that we should strive for. But then, I just recently got, people are so mad because I did this movie Maintenance Required. And I was like, this is the gayest I've ever looked. It would be funny if this character was straight or at least fluid or whatever. Yeah. So we have this like beautiful model guy come in, and that's my fake boyfriend.
While you're like grinding things down in a shop, when you like, I did get a little chuckle to myself, and like, there's a scene where you're talking to Madeline Petch, and you guys work in a garage that she owned, like O'Malley's Garage. It's located in Oakland, like very family owned, like, and they're competing with Big Auto Body, who's just moved in down the street, and it's like threatening to put them out of business. And you're having this conversation with her in this scene, and like, she's rolling a tire across the ground while you're carrying the tire across the auto body shop. Yeah. And then like, and that is, I believe that's after a scene where you have like jumped into the arms of a man and he's like carried you out of the auto body shop with him.
Yeah, but I think it's like, I think that's very valid to say that,
especially in the Bay Area, shit.
Yeah, yes, yeah. The way you look doesn't determine your sexuality, right? So, but we just like, I just thought it'd be kind of amusing, but the amount of people that are so mad that I played straight, like literally once, is like, it's actually kind of annoying me because every other movie I'm in, I have 5 movies coming out this year, and Mission Impossible, like you said, flirty gay submarine. I don't know. It's like
the flirtiest submarine. Submarine.
But every other character is canonically gay. Like Christy, I play Lisa Holloway, who is Christy Martin's now wife.
Yeah.
And Queens of the Dead, Ricky Lindholm is my wife.
Mm-hmm.
My Running Man character is just very queer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, can you not just like chill, guys? Like you're gonna get gay Katy. Like,
you're like, I can't help but give you gay Katy, but I am also an actor.
Yeah, I'm like, let a sister like play a role. Like
it's such an interesting thing about like when it feels like the bar moving forward and there being a broader allowance for fluidity in representation to break the normative idea that the things we expect have to look the way we expect them to look. And it's like, great, that's openness, and that feels like progress. But then people get so affixed to how our heroes or role models or icons or stars can become representative of a kind of progress if they do something that feels like it's not pushing in the favor of that progress, and sort of like every choice kind of feels like the push back that a public figure can get can be like really discouraging in terms of like wanting to do varied and different things in your career. It's like, shit, guys, am I like your AI Katy, or am I like actor Katy who's going to make actor Katy choices?
It's, people just really feel like they have ownership of you, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
And I also feel, look, I understand we've been underrepresented for a very long time. So it's nice to see representation on screen. I obviously understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we still have a long way to go with it. To feel like you have ownership over someone's sexuality or ownership over it's a very strange parasocial relationship. I see like, when someone is part of the queer community and they date outside of whatever is expected and people shame them for that, and I'm like, I get it, I got to an extent I understand like the confusion of it,
mm-hmm.
but also if we're fighting for just overall equality,
mm-hmm.
Or equity even, then why are you shaming someone for their sexuality? It's just it's a weird decision to make to make someone feel bad about who they love,
mm-hmm.
when all your life someone has been doing that to you.
And well, like, and I knew, like, watching G.I. Jane again, like, I of course remembered the don't ask, don't tell portion of the movie,
mm-hmm.
and it was just like, seeing how people who are running the government are really deliberately trying to repeal equity, strives toward equity, equality. Like to hear officers say in this movie to bark at Demi Moore, at Jordan O'Neill, her character, and be like, talk about the resentment that he has about her, and to say that part of his resentments is like the sensitivity training that my men must now undergo. Was like it felt like having 2025 scream at me through the lens of like 1997, and then to watch like essentially this character, like again the don't ask don't tell part, where she is photographed cavorting with co-workers, where they're just her and ladies sitting on a beach together, and it's grounds for her to get removed from the SEAL program and like possibly discharged out of the military because she is suspected of conduct unbecoming, which is just possibly being involved with women. And you just see this keyhole that this person has to exist in get vanishingly smaller and smaller and smaller if she wants to accomplish the things she has set her mind to. And already the keyhole was so little at the start of the movie. And then you just watch them winnow it down to like being able to pass just a single hair through it is the only way she could possibly navigate it. And that's just, it kind of feels, the line too of like, it feels like accusations are enough these days. It was just very... I know this movie got a lot of shit when it came out. It was a real Razzie kind of movie. And watching it now, I was like, this is a great fucking Ridley Scott movie.
It's the same, it's like nothing's changed. It's just framed differently in some ways. Some of the same arguments are still made. And it almost feels like we are regressing to that in a certain way. But yeah, it's like, okay, well, if we let women in XYZ, then we have to lower the standards. And it's like, no, you don't actually. You can have them meet the standards, because believe it or not, women can be strong too, and we can run really far too. And actually, if you're talking about like, in reality, if you're talking about ultra marathons, for instance, where you're running over 100 miles, which is, yes, disgusting, or swimming, ultra long distances, women are able to do that like significantly better than I think. Like by the fastest woman has like a 20-minute gap on the next fastest man in ultra endurance sports. So there are things that we can excel in that might actually be really beneficial for a position like this, where you have to like expand it over a vast terrain for an incredibly long distance or whatever. But it's just kind of it's always interesting, the limits that are like the ill thought out arguments, I guess, that people have for why we shouldn't allow women into certain positions. Like, oh, maybe, they'll be more prone to assault. And it's like, well, maybe the guys shouldn't do that. And,
there's a fascinating moment in this movie when the Master Chief, played by Viggo Mortensen, who is at times like a protector and a villain throughout this story, like where it gets to its absolute worst, and he does some like horrible, degradingly violent things to her in a training exercise, like a live training exercise. And he even says to his co-officer, who tells him like, that can't happen again. Like what you just did, like it stops here. And he tells him like, the problem isn't her, the problem is us.
There's out of line in there. It ain't gonna happen again.
Yeah, well, maybe not with you, but with these guys, with me. She's not the problem. We are.
And you have this person who has just been raining down hell on this individual this entire movie, and in this one moment, like, acknowledges that, like, she isn't actually the problem here. We are the problem here. And then you piss people off when you let them know that, when you, within just your own existence, make them or remind them or let them know that they are the problem, and then they blame you for feeling that way.
Yeah, but then also, it's like, I kind of, in a way, appreciated how awful he was, because I think that he probably was that awful to everyone. It's like...
Yes. You get you do get an egalitarian sense from Viggo Mortensen's Master Chief, yes.
Yeah, and in a way, it's like, it's almost like he's treating her like he would treat anybody else in a way. Obviously, yeah, it's like it's cringe, and we're seeing it from a very specific perspective, but it is also kind of an interesting way to look at it, I guess.
It's time for a short break, but I'll be back with Katy in a second, and she will tell us why her dad told her she shouldn't join the high school wrestling team. Then at the end, I will have one quick thing before I go about a seasonally relevant new title that I just learned about the existence of. It is called Match. It is on Tubi, and I want to talk about the trailer with you guys because it's from one of my favorite directors, and you'll find out who that is if you stick around at the end. Thanks, bye!
Moving is the worst.
Yeah, but it's exciting too. Our new Max Fun HQ office in downtown LA is actually going to fit all of us in it. And the new studio is going to be so nice. Plus, we'll have space for hangouts and events.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be worth it, but boy, is it expensive. Maybe we can get some help.
Hey, cool listener. If you want to get fun stuff and help us move, go to MaximumFun.org/Moving Day, where you can get vintage merch or buy naming rights to stuff around the office. If you help us move by buying something, we'll invite you over for pizza and beer at our new place. MaximumFun.org/Moving Day.
If you want to know what's going on in the world of movies, you should be listening to Maximum Film so we can tell you all about it.
Okay, but what if you already know what's going on in the world of movies? What if you're kind of obsessed with movies, like maybe you have a problem?
Well, then you should definitely be listening to Maximum Film, because we too have that problem, and it's important you know you're not alone.
We're talking indies you'll want to seek out.
Blockbusters and blockbusting wannabes.
Classics we can't get enough of.
I'm comedian and writer Kevin Avery.
I'm film critic Alonzo Duralde.
I'm festival programmer and producer Drea Clark.
Together, we're Maximum Film. Smart about movies in Hollywood, so you don't have to be.
But if you already are, that's also great. And hey, we see you.
New episodes every week on MaximumFun.org.
With the amount of training that you have done in martial arts and obviously with weight training and your physicality, do you find that, have you been put in positions where you need to undercompensate to, despite your like physical prowess, it's like, I need to put other people at ease here. Maybe they're guys, maybe they're not. I need to put other people at ease here by bringing myself, like dimming my light, putting my light behind a bushel a little bit. Has that been a part of your experience of getting to where you are? Or have you been, confident in keeping that light out and bright since you like started your career moving into the arts?
I think I used to have that like weird weight on my shoulder. I remember asking my dad to be in wrestling when I was younger. I really wanted to join the wrestling team. And he kind of was like, I really would rather you not, because he was a all-state wrestler, and he said that the bullying was so bad when a girl would beat a guy. And he I think he genuinely just thought I would win a lot.
that you would be a victim of your own success kind of thing? Well,
he said that he actually he experienced people committing suicide because they were bullied so badly for being beat by a girl. And he was like, I just worry that would be a weight, that I don't want you to have to deal with. And I was like, I kind of understand. At the time, I was like, yeah, sure, okay, fine. But now I'm like, that's just such a weird way that society would like, if someone's just better than you, they're just better than you, man. Get over it. I remember going to a jiu-jitsu class at a school, and just kind of my first day, I was just trying it out, this gym, and I tapped this guy out, we're just rolling. And he tapped out, and he was so mad, he just left. Grabbed his stuff and left the gym. And I was like, it's a game of chess sometimes. And if you win, it's like, what is that attitude? And I really appreciate the guys when I'm rolling with them, I tap them out and they smile and they think it's awesome, and they're excited.
Feels like that person's missing part of the totality of the experience of martial arts training from a holistic perspective.
Yeah, you're not going to win every fight. That's one thing that I love about it, is it's so humbling, and it, you fail more often than you succeed. And you just have to learn from it. And, I think it can be a really humbling sport, or you can come into, I think some people like treat it like therapy, like maybe like that maybe need genuine therapy. They need to sit down and talk to somebody. And I think that's where we start to see some ultra aggression and stuff.
Yeah. It's like this can supplement talk therapy, but it maybe shouldn't be like a wholesale replacement for that.
Right. Yeah. Like this is good for endorphins. It's good for confidence. But like, the aggression is where people get hurt. And I had a teacher once that's like, you can't play with your toys if you break them, so don't break your toys. And it's like,
all right,
your training partner. So it's like, play with your training partner in a respectful way is basically the meaning of it. If you want to keep playing with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, I've seen that a little bit, but I don't understand why I need to change. Like I need to not improve, and I need to, I don't know why that would be the case. I don't understand that. I think it's silly, and I want to be good at things. I want to be strong. I want to be able to do what I can do, and the reality of it is, if a man is gonna train just as hard as I am, he's gonna be stronger, more likely than not.
Yeah.
I don't have as much testosterone flowing through my veins. I don't do steroids. I'm not like. That's just the reality of it, but that doesn't mean I can't be strong. And I don't go to jiu-jitsu school every day. I just don't have time for it. So am I going to be mad that somebody that started after me is better than I am? No. They worked really hard for that. I should be happy for them. So that's my mindset. And it's just like, again, it's like now being older, I don't know, whatever. It's just coming from a place with more confidence and knowing that if I am beat out, it literally it could be someone's first day, they're a white belt, they come in and tap me out. And I'm like, you know what? I have to learn from this and laugh about it.
Wasn't my day. Wasn't my day.
It's just not my day. Exactly. And strength plays a huge factor in pretty much every sport. So if someone comes in and they're just brutally strong.
They look like, someone just comes in, they look like they're married to a Russian beet farmer. Sometimes there's only so much you could do.
There's only so much you can do. There's a girl that I used to roll with. She's so tiny that I couldn't even keep track of where she was on my body.
Like the snake eats its tail into a new kind of dominance.
Yes. I was like, I don't know where she is right now. And it turned out it was like, oh, she's around my neck.
Yeah.
That's
and then
found
you're
her.
being choked out.
Yeah. Found her. She's around my throat. Which is just, but I find that so inspiring because I'm like, okay, you found a way to make your size advantageous and in this sport. And you found a way to to hone your technique to a point where you're a phantom, and you're like dangerous. And I think that's so incredible because there's going to be a time when I'm going to be much smaller than someone and I have to be able to learn from that. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. To answer your question, no, I don't anymore. It was something that weighed on me a little bit when I was growing up, but nah.
Well then, okay, my concluding question for you would be then, and the note of like coming into and earning that kind of confidence within oneself, and then sort of looking at that sort of the G.I. Jane arc where she comes to like, this is someone who is doing it for her and cultivating the respect of her squad around her to come out as like a fully fledged member of this team, not because of her own shortcomings at the start, but perhaps because of theirs. And then thinking too along the lines of like working with the kinds of possibility models that you have with Christopher McQuarrie, Tom Cruise, people who seem to really invite education and an expectation that people will want to know how these things are getting made, how the work that they're part of is getting made, and working with a director like Rose Glass who presents this screenplay where you're like, I saw something in an interview where you were like, who is this for besides me? Because this is so for me. And then it's like, oh, this is for Kristen Stewart. Oh my God, it's for Ed Harris. I wanted to hear from you and to make a gay zombie comedy that's coming out and play like straight presenting / like hard femme look in a rom-com. What do you feel like possibility modeling has taken you to at this point, to where things that you see, like doors you see able to kick open for yourself, or a level of bar that you want to reach that has raised over time, where you're like, I have moved past perhaps certain desires of previously because I now know my potential is at this level? Where is sort of like your perceived potential taking you at this point?
I think there's always like these weird, this is such an interesting business, and it's constantly learning how to like readjust and adapt.
Yeah.
And understand or try to see where things are going and stay ahead of the curve. And
at
there's
an
so many
incredibly
things-
embattled time for the industry as economically just a business.
Yeah, it's especially in Los Angeles, it's just such a really terrible time for the business. And you kind of, I'm just constantly trying to see, okay, what can I do? How can I do something? This whole year I've had like maybe 4 auditions, coming off a year of like filming 5 movies.
Unbelievable.
It's been very, very weirdly slow. And so to the point where I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Like,
I'm sorry, that's so stressful. That's such a stressful position to be in. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But no, it happens to everybody.
Of course,
I've been so lucky since I came to Los Angeles 9 years ago. There hasn't been a year that I haven't worked. So I've been so very lucky. But the times that I have had a lull, it's like, okay, there's something that I need to do to fill in this blank, whether it's go to acting class, get a coach, do some movement training, do something to A, keep my chops going, but B, improve those chops. It's just like training anything else. So now I'm like, what do I need to do to get to that next step? What's the training element I'm missing, the discipline I'm missing, the connection I'm missing, whatever. So we're just trying to figure that out right now. And I think that's where I'm finding myself more often than not. Is just what the only thing I can change is myself, or like my decisions, and try the best I can to create my own material, or try to finance my own projects. And I think that's kind of where we're starting to shift, because it's like a lot of things now are kind of maybe a little more on the boring side for me. And it is so very rare to find an amazing screenplay, like so very rare. That I'm not just saying yes to everything. And I'm being very, very selective, which is a reason that I'm not working right now. But it also means that I have to be very like intentional, and I can't just sit and let like everything fall to pieces, so right now it is like, we're looking at trying to produce projects, and I'm finding scripts that really speak to me, and trying to find ways to get those funded. And I think that's it's gonna be like the hopefully the Margot Robbie approach of like I'm sick of being cast this one
Let's
way.
see Katy O'Brien's Lucky Chap Entertainment.
That's right. I'll be the next Barbie. No. Sporty Barbie. But yeah, I mean, it's just figuring out what you can do, I think is just where I try to focus my energy.
Well, I thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today about all of this stuff. I was so happy to watch G.I. Jane again to get ready for this, and then was just like blown away by it and knew all of it. And there's just like the beautiful filming of the 90s and a Ridley Scott movie, just like everything epic, every shadow a poem. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate that you say no to things, and that you know that you will work again, because when you're not working, it can feel like you're never going to work again. And I appreciate that you are pursuing the right thing instead of the proliferate thing. And I'm looking forward to when you are self-generating the things that we get to anticipate that you have put on the board from scratch and then brought through to completion. And I just am very excited for your next thing.
Thank you. Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, who knows?
Truly, who knows? But what I know right now is I am grateful for your time today, and good luck out there with the remainder of the releases that you have coming up imminently through the end of this year and like beginning of next.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
What a dream to get the chance to talk with Katy O'Brien. Seriously, since the breakout in Love Lies Bleeding, I've hoped that we could find a way. And when her movies just kept getting bigger and bigger, and the red carpets just kept getting more extravagant. I was like, ooh, the dream feels like the star is shooting farther away. But it was absolutely wonderful to talk to her. We got the chance, and as she said, she has got so many movies coming out this year. This weekend, you can watch her in Maintenance Required on Amazon Prime, and then you can go out and see her in Queens of the Dead. Support independent cinema, as we always say. This is a prime chance to do so. Then The Running Man and Christie both come out on November 7th, two very different scopes of movie. And it is a good time to be a Katy fan, just generally, and also the perfect time to become a Katy fan if you've been, for some reason, looking for the opportunity, and for some reason, the bisexual submarine of Mission Impossible Final Reckoning did not pull you over the finish line. Now, anyway, that one quick thing before I go, still October, guys, so I'm going to put you on to a horror movie tip that I literally learned existed yesterday. Thanks to the Twitter feed, it is still good for some things. And I saw the name director Danishka Esterhazy, and that's literally all I need to know. It's a Tubi original. She has been banging them out for Tubi, if that sounds like a familiar connection. The new one is called Match, and it looks like playing on your very modern fears about people on the internet kind of situation. The trailer, I haven't watched this yet, because again, this is new information to me, but I'm sharing this so perhaps we can all go on the journey together. Girl matches with guy on app, goes to meet him, never comes home. And trailer is giving a kind of like barbarian in the basement trapped situation. It's creepy. It's really messed up looking. There's a lot of screaming. Danishka Esterhazy has done previously a very good job with basement containment in the little indie sort of sci-fi genre picture Level 16, which I'm a very big fan of. I boosted her before when she had Sniper: The Last Stand come out. Oh gosh, was that earlier this year or was that end of last year? She is prolific. Her remake of Slumber Party Massacre, which was a VH1 original, was actually so good. The Banana Splits movie, actually so good. She can make any kind of movie. She's a genre specialist to be sure, but you put a movie in her hands and she's a woman who's going to deliver. This is support small movies, support independent directors. This is support directors who are out here doing the yeoman's work, and they show up for us every time. They understand the assignment. So I'm going to be watching Match soon on Tubi, which is great for us all because it's free. So I hope you guys will join me in getting on the Esterhazy bandwagon and watching a scary movie at Halloween time. We all win. And that is our show. You can keep up with us wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow the show wherever you are listening to us right now and get every new episode in your feed as it drops. You can also follow us to find out more on Instagram at Feeling Seen Pod. We are on Blue Sky if you search Feeling Seen. And if you want to follow me, I am JorCrew on Twitter and Blue Sky. Our theme music is by Andrew Epen, and this is a production of Maximum Fun.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows, supported directly by you.